Everyone, so with the subjugation event also came the damage point test thing. The damage score test, basically you just go ahead and do as much damage as you can, test your damage, but that's really not what it is. You just kind of kill the enemy, and depending on what kind of damage you do, you get a certain reward. And this is a one-time-a-day thing, presumably all throughout the rest of the subjugation event period. This is usually, it's kind of like a new thing that they've been doing, I think, like with the past 3 subjugation events, where we get basically a harder version of the boss, making the 63k or whatever it is of the week just pretty much useless now. Like, there's no reason to be beating it unless you want the 100 gems and then the title, but like, I don't get why they would just make it so useless and then bring this. Like, it would make sense if they made the 63k useless and then bring this in and then kind of like replace the rewards with the old 63k with this new stage, so you'd get those old rewards like the glowing memory, as well as maybe even get the title. Like, I think the title, the 100 gems, and the glowing memory should probably just be here instead of having the 63k stage be completely useless. But it is what it is. They just added these alongside with subjugation events just so we can have something to do, even though the game is very dead. There's absolutely nothing to do, and I don't log in at all. I literally just do dailies and get off and collect stamina, basically. But yeah, unfortunate. It is what it is. These are pretty boring as well. Essentially, we get the crystal, which we get every single subjugation event as the bonus stage boss. Then we also get a harder version of the boss. This time it's the YUKI USAGI. I went ahead and used this team right here. Basically, essentially the same exact team as I used for the 63k, but I replaced with Nemaki Ram because she didn't really do anything. The boss here stops her from doing a lot of DPS, and she's like mainly AoE, and her DPS just wasn't anything. So I just opted to really help my team out with Anastasia being one of the best supports in the game. My Rhine is doing basically all of my damage. The other 4 units are purely for survivability and support. I do have the attack memory, can't really see, on Rhine. And then I'm going to have the cooldowns from obviously Anastasia and whatever other characters do it, because I always forget what other characters do. This boss has been able to one-shot a lot of my units, so just be careful. If he does crit, I believe, he can one-shot potentially a lot of units. He's done that to my Ram, both Rams, this one on screen as well as the Nemaki Ram. Then I think he's done a decent chunk of Shion's health as well, and Shion's a pretty tanky girl, so you just have to basically just use your old team, and if it doesn't work, just maybe focus on the single target damage and just put a little extra support in there. It's really not too hard. The main kind of difficulty comes from the actual crystal. So the crystal is just extremely tanky. It doesn't kill you, it doesn't even have a turn. It's just the fact that the crystal is extremely tanky, and the units that you're able to use are limited. So with this subjugation event crystal, obviously blue units are the ones you're supposed to be using for like the event, and then the crystal is kind of just going to base off that. So obviously you're only allowed to use blue units for this crystal, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. You'll see my team in a bit after we go ahead and just clear this really quick. I have been able to clear this boss. The crystal yesterday, I was able to get at least like A. I think I can do better, but I'll kind of test a little bit off camera and maybe like learn more about the crystal, see what I can do. Have some fun with it, I guess, while I can. One thing I do say about the game in general, it's just a huge problem when you're trying to quit out and you have to wait for the animations to finish. They need to change that, because I know that a lot of people are probably gonna miss a run or two because they were just testing a team and it wasn't doing enough damage and it didn't let them back out. I've had this one thing where I've tried backing out multiple turns and the animations just wouldn't let me back out of the game. I hate it. I talk about it all the time. Literally, it was like 3 turns back to back to back ultimates, and my characters just wouldn't let me back out of the game, and the timer was running down, and I was so stressed. I just hate that this game does that. I really don't understand it. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. I wish it would change it. But yeah, if they're gonna make something with you only have 1 chance a day, and you know it matters how much damage you're doing. Obviously, Ram using, as you can see, she takes a decent amount if he crits or does that one attack, so just be careful of that. But yeah, able to do it one a day, you're kind of testing and damage score and everything like that. It's just like in the whole nature of the dungeon, they should at least let you back out and stuff like that. So it's just kind of upsetting. But yeah, we're almost done here. Again, just kind of focused on the single target damage. As you can see, Ryan has literally been the only one basically doing any DPS, and he's able to carry it on his lonesome. And then Anastasia's nice to have the clear buffs because it kind of stops him from one-shotting your units, although, you know, it's not too big of a deal if he does. As long as your Ryan doesn't die, if you're using the same exact team, then you should be fine. New record, it's only second day, so it makes sense. Then yeah, as you can see, he's doing most of the damage. We have the S rewards, or the SS rewards rather. We have 40 gems a day, hourglass, and scrolls. Pretty standard, we get this all the time. I think they've increased the gem count since like they started doing it, but not by much. So I don't know the SS rewards for this one, but this is the team I used last time. Obviously Anastasia for her later skill with crits for blue allies having 35% increased chance to crit, and then as well as like obviously Elsa being a crit based unit. She's my queen here. She does the most damage by far. I can see Puck being good if you build him a little more. All I do have on him is his 1 through 5 attack hammers. I don't have any SP hammers on him. I can see Rem kind of being good here, or Oni Rem rather, but it's just she takes a lot of time with her animations as well as her boost, which is pretty much useless because I already get like most of the buffs from just having Anastasia on the team. So, and she just doesn't really need them. So her boosting herself really takes a lot of time out of the run. I've seen some people use Felix as well as Adult Felix. No one actually has him here, but I've seen some people run Adult Felix for some reason on the recommended teams, even though he only does the more DPS. The more damage he takes in, the more DPS he does. And this crystal literally doesn't do anything. It's just there to take hits. So very interesting. I actually don't know what this Tibi does. Attack 35%. Okay, that makes sense. That could be a good leader skill. I kind of like the guaranteed crits. I can try that. I think, honestly, Oni Rem takes up too much time here. I'm debating switching out Oni Rem with Rem. I know everyone runs Rem. I don't know why, but I just kind of copied everyone. I know she's a good action gauge booster. What else she do? I kind of forgot what Rem does, but I know I should probably be running her. Also, she does some solid DPS. I'm not sure if the crystal's immune to defense down. I'm assuming it is, but I don't know for sure. Let's try the Hetero team. Or the Tibi team rather. The Tibi leader. See if that does anything for me. Switch out the memory. I think I want to put damage memory on. I can't remember. Then obviously instead of idle, we're gonna put the 40% attack for Oni demons. I think this is Oni. I don't think it's maids. But yeah, very good. And yeah, so this is kind of my team. Only blue units. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. My blue units suck, but we'll see. We have 5 minutes on the clock as per usual. Auto again. This crystal doesn't attack or do anything. I get 300k per crit, which is really nice. That's why I wanted like the guaranteed crits. But it seems pretty fine so far. Hopefully this team. Oh, that's a lot more damage. Usually she did like a consistent 300k with each hit. That was almost 400k. So I think Tibi leader skill is probably your best bet. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I love Elsa here, especially because she has the 2 hits. Really nice. And then Puck, obviously, meh. Elsa is just dominating. As always, Anastasia being a great support. Rem's doing her part too. Tibi takes some time doing buffs, but it is what it is. Honestly though, I wouldn't stress, you know, trying to get SS. It's kind of whatever. These come around all the time. I'm trying to think. It came like halfway through the event, so 7 days, 7 times 40. What is that? Like 280 gems per each stage if they both get 40 gems. I rarely beat the crystal on SS, so I don't even know the SS rewards. I think I might actually be able to beat it here if I'm lucky. We get a little more Elsa attacks. I don't know, potentially we'll get close. I don't know if we'll beat it, but yeah, Elsa's this is a really good team. Okay, so Tibi obviously is probably your best bet for leader. Again, these aren't too bad. Like or this one in particular, because the cat is like in the general pool. You can obviously have the best leader for this team in the general pool, so that's nice. But your DPS is probably gonna suffer if you haven't been getting lucky on blue unit banners. Almost there. I don't think we're gonna be able to get it, but it is what it is. See, even with a pretty solid team like this, you know, I think you could potentially do it if you manual, but I just kind of don't want to do that. Oh, 3 seconds left. Kind of clutch. Okay, I didn't think we would be able to get it. Like I said, you could probably do it on manual, but you probably have to play 1 time speed, and that's kind of not my vibe. I don't want to sit there for 5 minutes on 1 time speed trying to be as fast as I can. Okay, so 30. So you get 280 from 1, and then 7 times 3 was at 210. So overall, you're not missing out too much. You know, 400 gems, more or less, give or take. It's kind of whatever. Although they've been giving so many less like gem resources, like I say this all the time, I guess you need to take what you can get. So if you can beat it on SS, you know, go ahead and do that. Make sure you do that every day until the event leaves. Yeah, so more or less like 6 days, 7 days. If you did it yesterday, then 7 days. This one's 6. But yeah, so make sure like you do it the day it comes, because they actually update. Like, was it like, I think it was 9 p.m. for me. I think it's 8 o'clock now because of daylight savings. So like, it's before reset. So you technically, even though they update mid game, you can still kind of like do the dungeon. So just make sure whenever the game updates, you do that extra day, that free day. And yeah, so that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully this helps you out, and hopefully you guys don't struggle too much on these. They can be a little annoying, a little tricky, but it is what it is. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.